You're dying. Right now. This moment. Every second that passes is a second you'll never get back. Every breath you take is one breath closer to your last. Every sunrise you see is one fewer sunrise remaining. You know this. Everyone knows this. But you don't live like you know it. You live like you have forever. Like time is infinite. Like there will always be tomorrow. There won't be. Seneca wrote that life is long if you know how to use it. But most people don't. Most people waste it. They spend decades on things that don't matter. They postpone what's important. They save their dreams for someday. And someday never comes. They die with their music still in them. With their words unspoken. With their love unexpressed. With their potential unrealized. Not because they didn't have time. Because they didn't use the time they had. You have less time than you think. Much less. The average human life is about 4,000 weeks. 4,000. That sounds like a lot until you realize you've already used some of them. Maybe 1,000. Maybe 2,000. Maybe more. And you can't get those back. They're gone. Spent. The only question is what you'll do with what remains. Most people never ask this question. They drift. They let circumstances decide. They let other people's priorities determine how they spend their days. They trade their lives for paychecks they don't need to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. They spend the currency of their existence on things that will mean nothing when they're lying on their deathbed counting their final breaths. And they know it. Deep down, everyone knows they're wasting time. That's why you feel that quiet desperation, that nagging sense that life is passing you by, that creeping anxiety that you're not doing what you're meant to do. That's not pathology. That's wisdom. That's your soul screaming at you to wake up, to stop wasting the precious, limited, irreplaceable time you have. But you don't listen. You silence that voice. You distract yourself. You tell yourself you'll make changes later. When you have more money. When you have more security. When the timing is right. When you're ready. But you'll never be ready. The timing will never be perfect. And later might not come. Marcus Aurelius knew this. He was the most powerful man in the world. Emperor of Rome. He could have done anything. Had anything. Been anywhere. And he spent his time writing to himself about not wasting time. About doing what matters. About living each day as if it were his last. Because he understood something most people never grasp. Power doesn't give you more time. Wealth doesn't extend your life. No amount of success makes you immortal. Death comes for everyone. The emperor and the slave. The rich and the poor. The famous and the forgotten. Death doesn't care about your plans. Your potential. Your promises to yourself that you'll do better tomorrow. Death just comes. And when it does, all you have is the life you actually lived. Not the one you planned to live. Not the one you meant to live. The one you lived. So what life are you living? What are you actually doing with your days? Not what you tell yourself you're doing. Not what you wish you were doing. What are you actually spending your time on? Be honest. Brutally honest. How many hours did you spend scrolling last week? How many hours watching shows you won't remember next month? How many hours in meetings that accomplish nothing? How many hours doing work you don't care about for reasons you can't articulate? How many hours avoiding the things that actually matter? Add those hours up. Those are hours of your life. Hours you'll never get back. Hours you could have spent on things that matter. On people you love. On work that fulfills you. On experiences that transform you. On becoming who you want to become. But you didn't. You spent them on nothing. On distraction. On avoidance. On the slow suicide of a life unlived. Epictetus taught his students that they were complaining about not having enough time while wasting most of the time they had, that they acted like misers with money but were recklessly generous with time. Even though time is infinitely more valuable. You can make more money. You can't make more time. You can recover from financial loss. You can't recover time once it's spent. Every hour you waste is an hour of your life you've thrown away. Every day you spend on things that don't matter is a day you've lost forever. Every week you postpone what's important is a week you'll never get back. And at the end, when time runs out, you won't get a refund. You won't get a second chance. You'll just get whatever life you actually lived with the time you had. Is that enough for you? Is the life you're living right now, if it continued exactly as it is, a life you'd be proud of on your deathbed? Would you look back with satisfaction? Or with regret? Would you feel you'd lived fully? Or that you'd existed partially? Would you have stories worth telling? Or excuses for why you never tried? You know the answer. Everyone does. That's why this feels uncomfortable. That's why you want to stop reading. That's why you're already making excuses. Already thinking of reasons why your situation is different. Why you can't change. Why you have to keep living the way you're living. But those are lies. Comfortable lies you tell yourself to avoid the terrifying truth. The truth that you could change. That you could choose differently. That you could start living the life you actually want. Instead of the life you've settled for. But that would require courage, sacrifice, uncertainty, so you stay. You settle. You waste your life because changing it feels harder than continuing to waste it. Seneca saw this everywhere. People who had time but acted like they didn't. People who were generous with their time for everyone except themselves. People who spent their lives preparing to live instead of actually living. He wrote that we're not given a short life. We make it short. We have enough time for everything that matters. We just spend it on things that don't. Think about someone you love who died. Maybe a parent, a friend, someone who ran out of time. Would you give anything for one more hour with them? One more conversation? One more chance to tell them what they meant to you? Of course you would. Because when someone dies, you realize how precious time was. How it shouldn't have been wasted. How every moment mattered. But you have time. Right now. With people who are still alive. With yourself. With your dreams. With your potential. And you're wasting it. Not because you don't know better. Because you're acting like you have forever. Like there's no urgency. Like time will always be there. It won't. The ancient Stoics practiced memento mori. Remember death. Every day. Every morning. They would remind themselves that they would die. That everyone around them would die. Not to be depressed. To be awake. To remember that time is limited and therefore precious. To stop wasting it. To start using it. When you remember you're going to die, you stop caring about trivial things. You stop holding grudges. You stop postponing joy. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop living for someday and start living for now. Not recklessly. Intentionally. With the recognition that this moment is all. You're guaranteed. This conversation might be the last one you have with this person. This day might be your final day. This year might be your only year. What would you do differently if you knew that? How would you spend your time? Who would you tell you loved? What would you try? What would you stop avoiding? You don't know how much time you have. Nobody does. The healthy person who drops dead from an aneurysm had plans too. The young person killed in an accident thought they had decades left. The person diagnosed with terminal illness yesterday thought they were fine last week. Time isn't guaranteed. Tomorrow isn't promised. All you have is now. So what are you doing with now? What are you doing with this day? This hour? This moment? Are you spending it on what matters? Or are you spending it on what's easy? On what's comfortable? On what's safe? On what lets you avoid the difficult truth that if you don't use your time, it will be gone? Most people live in the past or the future. They ruminate about what happened. They worry about what might happen. They plan for someday. They regret yesterday. But they're never here. Never now. Never present for the only moment they actually have. And so they miss their lives. They're so busy thinking about living that they forget to actually live. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly to stay present. To focus on what's happening now. To not let his mind wander to the past or future. He had an empire to run. Infinite concerns. Endless worries. But he knew that worrying about the future while neglecting the present was the surest way to waste both. You can't change the past. You can't control the future. All you have is now. This moment. This choice. This action. And if you waste this moment worrying about other moments, you've wasted the only moment you had. Life is short. But it's also happening right now. While you read this. While you breathe. While you think. This is it. This is your life. Not the life you'll have when conditions are perfect. Not the life you'll live when you're ready. The life you're living right now. Today. This moment. Is it the life you want? Is it the life you'd be proud of? Is it the life you'd choose if you knew you only had a year left? If not, why are you living it? Why are you wasting your precious, limited, irreplaceable time on a life you don't even want? The answer is usually fear. Fear of change. Fear of uncertainty. Fear of what might happen if you actually went after what you want. So you stay. You settle. You live small. You play safe. And you call it being responsible, being realistic, being smart. But it's not. It's being afraid. And that fear is costing you your life. Because while you're afraid to live, time is passing. While you're waiting for the right moment, moments are disappearing. While you're preparing to begin, your life is ending. Not dramatically, quietly, day by day, hour by hour, second by second, until one day you'll realize you've run out of time and you never started. Seneca wrote about people who spent their entire lives preparing to live, getting the degree, building the career, accumulating the money, waiting for retirement. And then they died, without ever actually living, without ever doing the things they were preparing to do, without ever becoming the person they were working toward becoming. They spent their whole lives in preparation and never got to the actual living part. Don't be that person. Don't spend your life preparing for a life you'll never live. Don't wait for conditions that will never be perfect. Don't postpone what matters until you have time. You have time now. This is the time. This moment. This day. This year. Stop waiting. Start living. But what does that mean? What does it mean to actually live? To use your time well? To make your short life count? It means different things for different people. But there are patterns, commonalities, truths that apply to everyone. First, it means being present. Actually being here, in this moment. Not thinking about what happened or what might happen, but being fully engaged with what is happening. When you're with someone, being fully with them. When you're working, being fully focused on the work. When you're experiencing something, actually experiencing it instead of documenting it or thinking about it. Most people are never fully present. They're physically somewhere but mentally elsewhere. They're in a conversation but thinking about work. They're at an experience but looking at their phone. They're alive but not really living. Just existing. Just passing time. Just going through the motions. Stop. Wake up. Be here. This moment is your life. And if you're not present for it, you're not present for your life. You're missing it. While it happens, while it passes, while it disappears forever. Second, it means prioritizing what matters. Most people spend most of their time on things that matter least. They give their best hours to work they don't care about. Their leftover energy to people they love. Their attention to screens instead of experiences. Their life to obligations instead of aspirations. You can't do everything. You don't have time. So you have to choose. And most people choose wrong. They choose based on urgency instead of importance. Based on what's loudest instead of what matters most. Based on what's easy instead of what's meaningful. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He had infinite demands on his time. Everyone wanted something from him. Everything seemed urgent. But he constantly asked himself what was essential, what actually mattered, what aligned with his principles, and he said no to everything else. Not because those things weren't valuable, but because saying yes to everything meant saying no to what mattered most. You have to make the same choice. Every day. Every moment. What actually matters? What deserves your limited time? What will you regret not doing when time runs out? Those things deserve your time. Everything else is a distraction. Third, it means acting now. Not planning to act. Not preparing to act. Actually acting. Actually doing. Actually moving. Because plans don't matter. Intentions don't count. Only action. Only what you actually do. Most people spend more time planning to do things than actually doing them. They're going to write the book, start the business, take the trip, have the conversation, make the change someday when they're ready, when conditions are right, when they have time. But someday never comes. Ready never arrives. Conditions never perfect. Time never opens up. And they die with all their intentions unfulfilled, with all their plans unrealized, with all their potential locked inside them. Don't let that be you. Don't die with your music still in you. Don't wait to start. Don't plan to begin. Start now. Begin today. Do something, anything. Take one step toward the life you actually want. Not the perfect step. Not the complete journey. Just one step. Today. Because you might not have tomorrow. You might not get another chance. This might be your only opportunity. And if you waste it waiting for a better opportunity, you've wasted your only opportunity. Fourth, It means being honest about what you want. Most people lie to themselves about this. They pretend they want what they're supposed to want, what society expects, what their parents wanted for them, what looks good on paper. But deep down, they want something else, something different, something true. And they waste their lives pursuing what they think they should want instead of what they actually want. They climb the ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. They achieve success only to realize it's not the success they wanted. They get to the destination only to realize it's not where they wanted to go. Epictetus taught that you must know yourself, must understand your nature, must be honest about your desires. Not the desires you think you should have, the ones you actually have. Because if you're not honest with yourself about what you want, you'll spend your life chasing things that won't fulfill you. And when you get them, you'll wonder why you feel empty. What do you actually want? Not what you tell other people, not what looks good, not what's impressive. What do you actually honestly deeply want? What would make your life feel lived? What would make your death feel acceptable? What would make you proud on your deathbed? Be honest, brutally honest, and then pursue that. Not the version you think you should pursue. The real thing. The true thing. The thing that matters to you. Even if it's different from what anyone expected. Even if it's not impressive. Even if it's simple or strange or unconventional. Your life is yours. You only get one. And spending it pursuing someone else's dream is the ultimate waste. The ultimate tragedy. The ultimate betrayal of the time you've been given. Fifth, it means accepting loss. Understanding that everything ends. Everyone dies. All things pass. And that this isn't tragic. It's what makes them precious. What makes them matter. What makes them worthy of your full attention and presence. Most people run from this truth. They pretend death isn't coming. They act like the people they love will always be there. They treat time like it's infinite. And so they take everything for granted. They postpone connection. They delay expression. They save their love for later. But later might not come. The person you love might die tomorrow. You might die tomorrow. This might be the last time you see them. The last time you speak. The last chance to say what needs to be said. Seneca practiced negative visualization. He would imagine losing everything, everyone, not to be depressed, to appreciate what he had, to not take it for granted, to use his time with people well because he knew that time was limited. Practice this. Imagine the people you love dying. Not morbidly, realistically, because they will die. Everyone dies. And when they do, you won't get more time with them. You'll only have the time you already spent. Did you use it well? Did you tell them what they meant to you? Did you show up fully? Or did you waste it distracted, postponed, taken for granted? If you knew someone would die tomorrow, you'd spend today with them differently. You'd be present, attentive, loving, honest. You wouldn't waste a second. You wouldn't check your phone. You wouldn't postpone connection. You'd make every moment count. Live that way now. With everyone. Because you don't know who's dying tomorrow. It might be them. It might be you. All you know is that time is limited. And wasting it is the only real tragedy. Sixth, it means letting go of what doesn't matter. Most people carry so much unnecessary weight, grudges, resentments, offenses, slights, things that happened years ago that they're still angry about, people who wronged them that they can't forgive, mistakes they made that they can't release. All of this is weight. All of it takes energy. All of it consumes time. And none of it matters. Not really. Not in the scope of a short life. Not in the face of death. Not when you remember that time is precious and limited and irreplaceable. Marcus Aurelius had every reason to hold grudges. He was betrayed, attacked, undermined. People tried to kill him, tried to take his power, tried to destroy his legacy. And he let it go. Not because those things didn't happen, but because holding on to them would consume time and energy he didn't have to waste. He chose to forgive, not for them, for himself. Because forgiveness isn't about excusing wrong. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of carrying it. It's about reclaiming the time and energy that resentment consumes. It's about choosing peace over justice when justice costs more than it's worth. What are you carrying that you don't need to? What grudge is stealing your peace? What resentment is consuming your energy? What old wound are you protecting that's preventing new growth? Let it go, not because they deserve forgiveness, because you deserve peace. because your time is too valuable to spend on old pain. Seventh, it means creating something, contributing something, leaving something behind, not for immortality, not to be remembered, but because creating gives life meaning, because contributing connects you to something larger, because leaving something behind is how you honor the time you were given. You don't have to create something grand. You don't have to change the world. You don't have to be famous or important or historically significant. But you should create something, build something, make something, contribute something, add something to the world that wouldn't exist without you. Maybe it's raising children well. Maybe it's building a business. Maybe it's writing, creating art, teaching, helping, serving. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you do it. That you use your time to create rather than just consume, to contribute rather than just take, to add rather than subtract. Seneca wrote that we're not just here to exist. We're here to contribute, to use our reason and capabilities to make things better, to add value, to create meaning, not for others necessarily, for ourselves, because contribution is how we justify the resources we consume, the time we use, the space we occupy. What are you creating? What are you contributing? What will exist because you existed? If you died tomorrow, what would be your legacy? Not what you planned to create, what you actually created. Not what you intended to contribute, what you actually contributed. If the answer is nothing, or not enough, or not what you wanted, then change it. Today, now. Start creating. Start contributing. Start using your time to make something that matters. Because time is short, and spending it all consuming without creating is spending it all, taking without giving. Eighth, it means choosing experiences over possessions, choosing presence over productivity, choosing being over having. Because at the end, what you'll remember isn't what you owned. It's what you experienced, who you loved, how you felt, what you did, who you became. Most people spend their lives accumulating more money, more things, more status, more security. They work jobs they hate to buy things they don't need. They sacrifice presence for productivity. They trade experiences for possessions. And at the end, they realize that what they accumulated didn't matter, that the things they bought didn't fulfill them, that the life they worked so hard to build wasn't the life they wanted. Marcus Aurelius had everything: unlimited wealth, ultimate power, every possession imaginable. And he wrote constantly about how little any of it mattered, how possessions couldn't bring happiness, how status couldn't bring peace, how power couldn't bring fulfillment. He had it all, and he knew it was all nothing. What mattered was his character, his choices, his virtue, how he treated people, how he responded to challenges, what he became through living, not what he had, what he was. You're chasing the wrong things. You're working for the wrong rewards. You're building the wrong life, not because those things aren't valuable, but because they're not what you'll remember, not what you'll treasure, not what will matter when time runs out. Choose differently. Choose experiences that transform you over possessions that define you. Choose time with people over time making money to buy things. Choose being present over being productive. Choose living fully over living safely, because safety doesn't matter when you're dead. Productivity doesn't matter when time's up. Possessions don't matter when you can't take them with you. All that matters is the life you actually lived, the experiences you had, the people you loved, the person you became. Ninth, it means making peace with imperfection, with the fact that you won't do everything, won't be everything, won't achieve everything, won't experience everything, because time is limited and you have to choose. And choosing means letting go. Most people paralyze themselves trying to keep all options open, trying to do everything, trying to be everything. They don't commit because committing means closing doors, means saying no to alternatives, means accepting that they can't have it all. So they commit to nothing. They try everything shallowly. They spread themselves so thin they accomplish nothing deeply, and they waste their lives in indecision and half-hearts and paths not taken. Epictetus taught that you must choose, must commit, must accept that choosing one thing means not choosing another. And that's okay. That's necessary, because time is limited. You can't do everything. So you must choose what matters most and let go of the rest. What are you not going to do? What are you not going to be? What are you not going to achieve? Be honest. Make peace with it. Let it go. so you can fully commit to what you are going to do, what you are going to be, what you are going to achieve. This isn't settling. It's focus. It's recognizing that depth requires sacrifice, that excellence requires commitment, that a life well lived requires choosing what matters most and releasing what doesn't. 10th, it means living according to your values, actually embodying what you believe, actually acting according to what you say matters. Because most people have a gap between what they say they value and how they actually live, between what they claim matters and what they actually spend time on. They say family matters but work 80 hours a week. They say health matters but never exercise. They say relationships matter but never make time for friends. They say creativity matters but never create. They say their values loudly and violate them daily. This gap creates suffering, creates emptiness, creates the sense that you're living wrong. Because you are. You're saying one thing and doing another, claiming to value things you're not honoring, professing beliefs you're not embodying. Marcus Aurelius wrote that waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. Don't just talk about your values. Live them. Don't just claim what matters. Spend your time on it. Don't just profess your beliefs. Embody them. This is integrity, alignment between what you say and what you do, between what you believe and how you live, between your professed values and your actual choices. And this alignment creates peace, creates fulfillment, creates the sense that you're living true. What do you say you value? Are you actually living according to those values? Is your time spent on what you claim matters? Are your choices aligned with your beliefs? If not, you're wasting your life. Not just your time, your life, because you're living in opposition to yourself. And that's the deepest waste of all. Life is short. Shorter than you think. Shorter than you're living like it is. Shorter than you'll realize until it's too late. And the tragedy isn't that it's short. The tragedy is that most people waste it. Spend it on things that don't matter. Postpone what does. Live small when they could live large. Play safe when they could be brave. Exist when they could be alive. Don't be most people. Don't waste the precious, limited, irreplaceable time you have. Don't postpone living until you're ready. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't save your dreams for someday. Someday is today. Ready is now. The time is this moment. This is your life. Short and precious and happening right now. Don't miss it.